Hey, welcome to another episode of the Evolved Dad Shorecast. So, as I've said before, it's important that you have something that drives you, that excites you. That could be a side hustle, that could be a hobby, whatever it is. But now I want to reel it in a little bit and I want to focus on the flip side of it. Very often, when we have side hustles, hobbies, or anything that gets us really excited, like anyone in life, we get caught up in it. Sometimes caught up in a way where we don't even realize how much time has passed. And the next thing we know that a 30-minute break to go build something turns into a 4-hour episode. And most times that could not be an issue. But what I want to talk about is where it can become an issue. Something that you have to stay away from at all costs. But at the same time, you have to stay really close to it. And that is creating a new you. You're probably thinking, what is this guy talking about? I'm supposed to be creating a new you. I'm supposed to be creating a new me. I'm supposed to be making a new person out of myself. You are. And that's exactly what you have to be most afraid of and most careful of at this point. Because right now you're creating and you've created a new self with a new renewed focus. While at the same time, you want to make sure that you're fulfilled. You want to make sure that you're still excited. You're doing the things that you enjoy, not only for yourself, but showing your wife and children that that's what it's about. It's important to pursue those things in life. The only thing is, if you get too caught up in that side hustle, if you get too caught up in that hobby and it starts taking over, it's going to start pulling you away from what your focus has been. You can see where I'm going with this. And it's not a pretty end. You could essentially be losing all the progress that you made. And even if you do lose some progress, that's fine. The main thing is that you catch yourself. You realize that you're getting reeled in to this thing that you don't want to get reeled into. So, taking the time, whether it's before you get into this new side hustle, maybe it's a new hobby, maybe it's reviving a hobby, reviving a side hustle, just take a few moments and write down on a piece of paper what the main purpose of life, of your excitement, of why everything you're doing, what's that main purpose? Aside from fulfilling yourself, outside of that, what's your big goal? For me, becoming a better father and husband every day. I want to give my wife and my children the best life that I possibly can. And I have pitfalls all the time. I stumble and trip all the time when it comes to this. But it doesn't stop me from getting back up and getting back at it. And there are times where I do get caught up. I get caught up in side hustle, hobbies, and I have to catch myself. Sometimes it's been way too long and I totally lose focus. And I got to pull myself back in and say, it's not what the main thing is. To realize that there's not really a balance, but there's a time and place for everything. And it's not always easy to understand that. But it's important to read the room, to realize at this moment, is my hobby more important? Or is the time that I'm going to spend with my wife more important? Is the time that I'm going to spend with my kids more important? And to really get an idea of where you stand. Could be that your hobby is more important at that point. It's possible. There's nothing here saying that it's always going to be your wife, it's always going to be your kids. But it's important to realize where this can go and how you should take that step back, how you should hold on to it. And that's just by writing this little note. So if you happen to have a little setup like I have over here, just write down on a piece of paper, stick it up on the wall somewhere where you remember that I'm doing all this because, and then writing out your reason. If you've gone through my perfect day exercise and you have everything filled out, make a copy of it, put it in that place, keep it handy. All that you're doing is not trying to pull yourself away from having fun. You're not pulling yourself away from having a good time, from enjoying your hobbies. You're setting yourself up for success because there are going to be those times where you're going to fail. And you know what? Maybe you're having a really good time and you don't want to care what anything else is happening. Okay. Nobody's going to be perfect. And nobody should tell you that you're any worse off. But at least having that realization that that's what you're focusing on. And that, yes, sometimes there's going to be more for you than there's going to be for them. And that's just life. There's going to be that constant imbalance in life. But you get to control that imbalance. And that's up to you. So having that realization, being able to remember, having those reminders is what's key. And if you can write these little things down, even a sticky note, maybe by the screen of your computer, if that's what your hobby involves. Maybe it's reading and you want to keep it on the bookshelf where you keep your books, or there's a chair that you like sitting in. Whatever it is, wherever you could keep those reminders, put yourself a small reminder. You'll see how much it helps. And again, it's not to pull you out of the things that you enjoy, but it's to make sure that the true enjoyment doesn't get lost. The reason that this comes to mind, I was recently working on one of my hobbies, and after some time, I realized I wasn't with my family at that time. It was a time when it was over a weekend, and I wasn't spending as much time with them as I wanted to. At the same time, it's a hobby that has a financial benefit to it. It's a tough toss up. Am I making money for the family, or am I making memories? These are decisions that you have to make in the moment. Only you know your financial situation. Only you know your family situation. Nobody else can make that decision for you. No one. Not your wife, not your kids. It's only you. Definitely no one outside your family. You're the only one that knows exactly what's going on from your perspective. That's your decision to make. And it's something that I'm sure that you can make. Even if you make what we would call a mistake, you learn from it, and next time you don't make that same mistake. No one's perfect. The idea is to keep moving forward, to keep striving for better. That's really all it's about. And by putting these little reminders in those places, that's when it comes to changing everything, to changing your entire life. Because that's really all that we need. You don't need to set up 5,000 reminders on your phone. One little paper that's taped to your desk, taped to the wall next to your desk, whatever it is, that's sufficient for a reminder. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. As always, I want to thank you for spending your time with me today. I encourage you and challenge you to take that little piece of paper today, write down why you're doing what you're doing, and tape it in a place where you spend your time for your hobby, for your side hustle, whatever it is. And I want you to watch how it's going to slowly change your life. It's going to slowly make those little changes. Then all of a sudden, one day you're going to turn around and you're say, wow, look at that progress. This is Jonathan, the Evolved Ed, signing off.